All right, I am in the kitchen now and I've got you with me. Tomorrow we are having our St. Patrick's Day dinner. So do traditional, although it's actually not an Irish thing, but the corned beef and cabbage with red potatoes. So that will be the meal for tomorrow. That's not so hard to do because it all boils in a pot. However, I thought I would take you through the desserts with me. I like to do the desserts the night before, just in case something happens the next day. At least I know that's taken care of. So for dessert, I did look up what are some Irish desserts, traditional Irish desserts. One of them is an apple cake. So I did print out the recipe for the apple cake. We're going to make that. And then they do chocolate. So I thought I would do like a chocolate silk pie. So we'll start with the chocolate silk. Just get that done, get it in the refrigerator, it's over with. And then we'll move into the Irish apple cake. So you're with me for a little bit. And yeah, we'll go ahead and get started. So when I cook, I like to try. There are sometimes I forget things and I'm running around looking for whatever it is I need. But I do try and get everything together. So I'm just going to kind of show you what I have put together here so that you can see. So for the chocolate silk pie, we're going to use the Jell-O. I'm not going to go through all of the hassle of melting chocolate and mixing it in, all that. No, we're going to use the pudding. And I will walk you through how we do that. I am going to make my own whipping cream, but you can use Cool Whip. And then from the eggs over, this is going to be for our cake, for the apple cake. So I forgot to see, I'm always forgetting something. I forgot the flour. So I'm going to grab the flour so that that's out and ready. And then I will get right back to you. All right, picked up the flour. Let's grab an apron. I'm not a horribly messy cook, but I do like my aprons. So believe it or not, this is a wall of aprons. I probably have any aprons for months. I don't have a green one for St. Patrick's Day. My only green is an elf for Christmas. So we're just going to go ahead and grab this black and white stripe. That'll work just fine. And we'll go ahead, put that on, and we're going to get started. So I want you to be able to realize that cooking and baking, it's not that hard. It really isn't. I enjoy doing it, and I just like anybody that uses tools, right? You will know that if you have the right tool for the job becomes much easier. So I will show you some of the tools that I have for the kitchen that I absolutely love and couldn't imagine not having, although of course I went many years without. So we're going to go ahead and get started with the chocolate silk pie first, get that in the refrigerator, and then we will move on to the apple cake. All right, I made a few adjustments in the counter or in the camera and the tripod so that we can get a little more of what's happening here. So I'm going to start with the whipped cream. Now, the whipped cream, we're just going to, super simple, heavy cream. Once you make whipped cream from scratch, you'll probably never want to buy it any other way. All right, so we're going to just throw this heavy cream. I'm going to throw all the heavy cream in there because what I don't need for my pies, I will go ahead and use for toppings. So what I mean by topping is maybe I'll make some kind of fancy little poofs on top of the pie. All right, so super simple. I'm going to go ahead. It's going to be a little loud, I'm sure, only if it's plugged in. I'm going to move it back a little bit because I want counter space. Okay. And this goes to town, right? Love my KitchenAid. It is something that my mother had that as soon as I got a kitchen of my own, I absolutely had to have one. It allows you to just kind of put something up and walk away from it. I am going to add just a little bit of sweetener to this. My husband and I can't have added sugars, so I'll use some monk fruit, and we don't need much. Okay, so I just threw a teaspoon in there. It may need a little more. I'm not going to put more in there because I'm going to be mixing it with this Jell-O, and even though it's sugar-free Jell-O, of course it's going to be sweet tasting. This is going to do its thing. I'm going to add a little bit of vanilla to it as well. If I can get the lid off the vanilla, there we go. So, if you have not already made the switch, highly recommend making the switch to vanilla paste over vanilla extract. 110% difference in taste and flavor. One of those things you'll never go back to extract once you try the paste. That's going to go on its own. I'm going to go ahead and open my little boxes of Jell-O. I'm using chocolate fudge flavor. You can use milk chocolate or whatever it is that you like. This is what I had in the house already. Wasn't looking to go out and spend any more money if I didn't have to. I'll save that money for more leggings. All right. Now this is already starting to thicken and form peaks. I'm going to go ahead and turn this off and just lift the beater, and the peaks hold. I'm going to grab a spatula just so you can kind of see. Now you saw that that was a milk, basically, thick milk that we put in there, and it just whips. So there it is. It's perfect. And because whipped cream is not terribly stable, you want to keep it cold. So I'm going to, gotta let the beater. It's good. Very good. All right. I'm just going to pop this in the refrigerator until I'm ready for it. Okay. And then back to our pudding. It's going to be so simple. And if you've ever had chocolate silk pie from a bakery, you're going to be like, are you kidding me? This is all it is? This is all it is. Yes, you can melt chocolate, you can temper it into your whipped cream, and you can beat it all by hand. Absolutely. This works just as well. This used to be my son's absolute favorite. He wasn't big on sweets, and every year for his birthday, all he wanted me to do was make him a chocolate silk pie. So every year for his birthday, I'd make him a chocolate silk pie. In another video, we'll get into Nick and his story. Here we are. Putting in milk. I use the Fairlife milk. I use the Fairlife milk because I drink a lot of milk with my chai tea. So am I going to measure? No, I'm not going to measure. I'm measuring with my heart. We're going to start here and we're just going to whisk. Can I use my mixer? Sure. But I'd have to switch bowls out, and this is just as easy. And this happens pretty quickly. Do you have a whisk? And we just whisk. Whisking's all in the wrist, gang. It's nothing up in the shoulder. It's nothing up in the elbow. It is all in the wrist. Already starting to thicken. This is, I didn't put that much milk in it, so this is going to be a lot thicker than I want it to be. So I am going to add some more milk to this. Again, we're measuring with our heart. Don't go overboard, because once it's too watery, it's going to be too watery. And there's no turning back from that, unless you've got more pudding to add to the mix. Okay. So I don't want it to be as if we're going to eat pudding straight out, because we are going to be making a pie with this, and we're going to be mixing our whipped cream into this. Okay. I'm going to add some more milk. It's really thick. I do want it to be a little bit thinner. How was your day today? Happy it's Friday. What are your plans for the weekend? Let me know. And what's your favorite pie? Do you like a fruit pie? Do you like a cream pie? Do a really good banana cream pie using the pudding also. And believe it or not, that recipe that I have actually came out of a children's cookbook, a Pampered Chef children's cookbook. Best banana cream pie. Every time I make it, people are like, oh my God, it's so good. It was from a children's cookbook. It was easy enough, you know, for children to make. All right, it is getting there. I want it to be just a little bit thinner. Add some more milk. And we're going to see where we go with this. Let me see what's happening in here. Well, you can see it's a glass bowl. Silly me. Okay. My day was pretty good today. I hope that your day was good. And if it wasn't good, maybe the fact that it's Friday night makes it good for you. I always love it when I get to do the things I love to do. And I love to teach my yoga. So I got to teach classes today, which is great. And I got to film some more yoga pose of the days this morning. So that was great. And I got up extremely early, which maybe wasn't so great. I probably could have left a little bit more time to sleep, but I made good use of the time. So I mopped my floors and did up a load of laundry and dusted, basically got the house relatively neat and clean, cleaned the bathroom, stuff like that. So it's ready for tomorrow for company and I don't have to worry about it. And we'll probably end up having between 20 and 25 people over for dinner. We bought 5 corned beefs, bought 4 packages of the baby red potatoes. Yeah, they're a little more expensive, but it's a lot less work for me because then I can just pour the baby reds in and that's good. The other ones I'm going to have to, you know, clean them and, well, not that I won't rinse the potatoes, but I'd have to scrub them and cut them down, and these I don't have to cut down. They're just small enough. All right, this is looking pretty good, like that. And let's give it a taste. Good. Very good. Very good. Good flavor. Okay. Now we're going to go ahead. I got the door and door refrigerator. Love it. So you get to open this. Gives you this compartment here. This one swings out. So we keep the things we grab the most in that, so we don't open the refrigerator door all the time. Here is our whipped cream. Get a lick. Good. All right. Spatula. We're going to fold in. I think I'm going to use all of this whipped cream for my pies. Let me get the shells ready. Move my drink out of the way. So again, can I make my own graham cracker crust pie or shortbread cookie pie crust? Absolutely. Is this easier for me? Absolutely. All right. So, does it make it any less good? No, does not. Let's prepare that. I think we should have enough for 2. Yeah, we should have enough for 2. For 25 people, 2 pies, 1 cake. They're not big dessert eaters. I'm used to my crew in South Florida. My crew in South Florida, they were good eaters. Now, my folks here, I don't know if they're just being shy or what. I'm going to set those aside because if you weren't aware, these become lids. Now, if I don't fill them too far up, I can use them. If I fill them too far up, I'm not going to be able to use them. That's okay. We'll get to that point. When we get to that point, we'll take a little piece of paper out. Also, my trash can is one that has the little foot pedal on it. I know a lot of times people stay away from them because the foot pedals, they stop working, they stop lifting, da da da. This one is by Hefty. It's a plastic one. Hefty? Oh, Simple Human. Sorry. This one is Simple Human. I have had this one for going on 4 years now. Highly recommend. All right, so we're going to fold our pudding mixture into our whipped cream. What does it mean to fold? It means we're kind of coming up from the bottom and then around. So we're not mixing it in. We're not doing one of these numbers. Let's go ahead and just dump it on in there. So, do you guys do anything special for St. Patrick's Day? Let me know in the comments. This is what I love to do. I love to get into the kitchen. I love to cook. I love my yoga. You know what? I am very blessed. I get to do many things that I love to do. So, I'm just going to mix this in. Why do we fold instead of just go in there and stir? Because stirring would certainly make this happen a lot quicker. We fold because when you stir, you're taking the air out of the things that you are trying to keep nice and soft and fluffy. So our whipped cream is all fluffy. If I were to sit there and stir it, I'd start removing all those air pockets in there, and then it would get really flat. And we're just about there. Probably tell through the glass how the white is now that light brown. You can tell our dark chocolate color isn't so dark chocolatey anymore. I just want to make sure that I don't have any of those white streaks in my mixture. So I'm going to clean up the edges of the bowl even. All right. And then how's it looking? Oh, so we can see some through the bowl there. So I've got some white there. We're going to go ahead and just get that mixed in. Oh, Nick would be all over this. I would have to make sure that I did 3 pies because he may dig into one the night before. All right. Nick is my son, and that's my son's name. And again, I'll get into that story another time. All right. So now we're just going to transfer this into our pie shells. Want them to be fairly even. Oh, that's going to be a mess. Mess I'll handle. All right, there's that. So if you were following my swimming pool construction videos, we don't have any news on the plumbing yet. Plumbing, electric, and rebar are all supposed to kind of be grouped together, and we have not been told when that is scheduled. And the delay really comes from the fact that we weren't even on schedule originally when they came out to do the excavation. They just happened to have had a cancellation in their schedule for excavation. So they said, let's just put yours in there. How do you feel about that? We're like, okay. Normally, everything would have been scheduled out. You know, excavation would have been on this day and the other one would have been here. So we're kind of waiting. Let's see. That one there. One more little scoop here. Try to get it all out. Set this aside. And then we're going to just go ahead and smooth this out. Kind of keep it within the confines of the crust if you can. I can decorate these tomorrow with additional whipped cream. Of course, I have more heavy cream. Got that in the refrigerator behind me. I want these to just be nice and smooth. Kind of thought of it after the fact. I could have done a kind of like a vanilla cream pie, but then done green food coloring in it so that it would have been themed, but that's all right. That's it. That's good. Just wash my hands. Aprons come in handy. I'm going to cover this. Put that back on. And these are done. I'm going to put them in the refrigerator. They will do nothing but just get yummier as the flavors meld between tonight and tomorrow evening. And I'd say if you're in town, come for dinner, but I'm probably not going to post this until tomorrow at some point. And so, and we're just those people, we kind of have this open door policy. If we know you, you're invited. And if we don't know you, you're still probably invited, you know? It's all good. I'm going to go drop these in the refrigerator. I'll be right back to you and we'll get started on this apple cake. All right, pies are in the refrigerator and we're ready to move on to the cake. As you can see, I did add a couple of things to the counter because in my way of forgetting things, I forgot the pan. The recipe calls for a springform pan. If you're not familiar with a springform pan, this is a springform pan. It's kind of grooved on the inside, so this is going to just sit in those grooves. And then you just push that back over, and now you've got the bottom in your pan. This recipe is telling me that I need to, even though this is a nonstick pan, line it with parchment. So we're going to line it with parchment, the bottom and the sides. I buy my parchment at Costco. Absolute cheapest place to get it. I mean, probably Sam's and what's the other one? BJ's. Have them too, and they're probably all right around the same price. You buy them in the grocery store, it's ridiculous what they want for one roll. You're getting 2 rolls for pretty much the same price. So I'm going to go ahead and just kind of measure out like that. There we go. You can flip your pan upside down and you can fold it in half and then in half again and then in half again. Okay, so we have this triangle. That'll go in the center of the bottom of the pan. And then just kind of fold that over the edge. Right, because we need to line the edges. And then I can go ahead and just, with my nail, I'm just kind of making a little line there. And I'll cut that. Is it going to be perfect? No. Is it going to be pretty close? Absolutely. Okay, and then we can unwind it. And I'm sure it's all over all of the, my husband wants something. Just come, this is life. It doesn't matter. So you're going to just kind of mush up, ball up your parchment, and then undo it, and it's ready for your pan. What you looking for? You want your steak?
Yeah, I'm ready.
Okay. So the recipe also tells us to go ahead and butter the pan. I don't get that part. Why am I going to butter this and then put this in there? I'm not doing it. That doesn't make any sense to me. Never makes sense to me. So I'm pushing that along the edges. Of course, you've got all those little bits. It's not going to, it's a flat piece of paper and a round pan, right? So it's not going to go ahead and sit flat. So just kind of hold it down in place and make those little folds as I go. It's going to affect the taste of the cake? No, not at all. All right. So now we have our lined pan, and I'm going to put that out of the way. I also want to preheat the oven to 350. So we go bake. It automatically comes up to 350. My stove, all I have to do is press start, and we're good to go. Okay, let's see. Our butter needs to be cubed. So we're going to go ahead and do that. You know what I need to do? I need to wash out my bowl. So you don't need to watch me wash the dishes. I'm going to get right back to you as soon as I wash the bowl. That way I can have it on the... Not that you would know, but we had a brief intermission. My husband wanted to get a little something to eat, and he cleaned up his mess. Yay, thank you. And then I peeled the apples. It would be riveting content to sit here and watch me just peel apples. So I went ahead and did that while he was taking care of his stuff. And I'm going to go ahead and slice these. I took the core out, but if I core them, then I'm going to get wedges. I don't want wedges because I'm going to use my mandolin. And we're going to use the mandolin to slice these. And I want them to be in about 1/4 inch thick slices. So I'm just going to go ahead. The recipe calls for 1, and I like apples, so we're going to put 2 in. The one thing about me is, in my opinion, a recipe is a loose guideline. Okay? So do not be me. Unless you are very familiar with one of these, you want to use the guide. Okay, it comes with a guard, rather. Use the guard. Okay. Yes, we're going to have to take a little knife and just cut the centers out of that, but that's fine. Okay. Going. There we go. And like I said, I'm going to do 2. As we get into that core, it just becomes a little bit stickier. All right. And I will just do these on the side. It doesn't matter, they're going in the cake. They're going to turn to mush anyway. And we will eat that. That won't go to waste. And my other little piece. The mandolin is great. You see how quickly that went through. Everything worked just fine. Again, we're not going to have any waste. I will eat that. Pop that in the sink. And then we'll grab my little paring knife just so I can go ahead and kind of cut through the center. If you are baking during the holidays, you can always take your apple cores and your peels and put them in a little pot on the stove and simmer them with some cinnamon and nutmeg, a little bit of orange peel, and you'll have just a really nice potpourri going on your stove, and it'll just smell up the whole house. It'll be really nice. The piece with the skin on is fine. It's going in there too. That's fine. Some of them I don't have to worry about the bits in there. Some of these we do. Now the mandolin, I always tell you, use caution. Our niece was staying with us for a while in Florida, and she wanted to make something and she wanted to use a mandolin. I said, okay, no problem. I said, listen, the blade is extremely sharp. I just need you to, use the guide. He said, just use the guide. She did not use the guide. She did slice her hand. She was sorry that she didn't listen. If you're watching, you know who you are, sweetheart. I love you, and we miss you. And we hope to see you soon. They're in New York. This particular niece is in New York. Actually, both the nieces are in New York. Those two. And then we've got two down here in the Phoenix area. My husband's brother's daughters. All growing into fine young women, or have grown into fine young women. They are all older, much older. They probably don't want to hear that. All right, get rid of that. Our apples are going to be ready. I'm going to slice them in half. Those longer or wider pieces, little pieces are already good. So we're not talking precision work here. I don't have anybody from Top Chef coming around. And even if I did, welcome to my kitchen. We'll do it my way. Get the seeds out of there. I don't want those in my cake. All right. And we'll just set the apples maybe on top of the cake pan. All right, and now we need to cube the butter. It says to use cold butter. Everything gets pretty warm here pretty quick. That'll be fine. It also says to get in there with your hands. I'm not getting in there with my hands. I have a pastry blender. We will be using that. That's fine. Again, it'll be fine. And I follow another YouTuber. She goes by Applesauce and ADHD. And she's a mom. And she does primarily cooking. She gets some, lifestyle stuff going on. And that's one of the things she's always says, it's fine, it'll be fine. And she's right, it'll be fine. Washing my hands, rinsing my hands anyway. Yes, my sink is a tap. Love it, love it, love it, highly recommend. When I was in Florida, I wanted one of those at my house in Florida, and a friend of ours was a plumber, and he's like, no, man, you don't want one of those. It's nothing but trouble. It's always a problem. I'm going out fixing those things more times than not. So went with his recommendation, didn't get one in Florida. For all those years, I was not having that. And this house came with it, and love it. And really, I don't know how old it is, so I can't say that the one problem we had was that big of a problem. Because if it was a few years old, then parts are going to go. So it did need a new solenoid, which Delta sent us with no charge. So go for it. You want to try it. All right, the recipe calls for whisking the granulated sugar, baking powder, cinnamon, salt, nutmeg, allspice, and 3 cups of flour. And then we'll add the butter to that. We're going to work that in reverse because I put the butter in here already. So we are 3 cups of flour. They will tell you not to scoop your flour. You don't want your flour compressed. Yes, that is true. Okay. Does that mean that every time I go to make something, I don't scoop my flour? No. If I'm in a hurry, I'm scooping my flour. And you know what? Everything came out just fine. Always has. I think I have just enough flour. Kind of get into bread making, so I have extra bread flour, but I didn't have extra AP flour, so feeling kind of lucky. Okay. That's my 3 cups of flour, scooped and leveled. Doing that part right for you guys. All right, let's see. It calls for 1 cup of sugar. We, again, use monk fruit here. in these parts. It is a 1-to-1 ratio, so it calls for 1 cup of sugar. Here is my measure cup. I just scoop it in there. I also don't ever feel like I need as much sweetener as recipes say, especially because it's apple. So I'm going to go ahead and probably use half of that amount, probably about half a cup of sugar. Again, I feel apples are sweet enough. We don't need to, use that full amount of sugar. That's fine. Let's see, baking powder. So I have almost everything in these little OXO containers, because when I lived in South Florida, it's just always a hassle with bugs and humidity, and these worked really well for me there. And when I moved here, I just, of course, kept them. So we need a tablespoon of baking powder. Have my measuring spoons right here. Tablespoon. Need a teaspoon of ground cinnamon. Nutmeg, allspice. Oh, forgot the cinnamon. Let's get the cinnamon. We try and keep things fairly convenient in my house. This is our pantry. Is it perfect? No. Does it serve its purpose? Yes. It's fairly well organized. All right. So it's a teaspoon of cinnamon. Now, I like spice, so I'm going to put a little more than a teaspoon. I'm going to go a little more of all the spices that the recipe calls for, because I like it good and spicy. If it's a spice cake, and this is basically a spice cake base, I'm going a little bit over. The recipe called for unsalted butter, and I did not have any unsalted butter. I have salted butter, so I am not going to use the full amount of salt. It wants 3/4 of a teaspoon of kosher salt. I'm going to go ahead and just put a little more than 1/4 in there, because we're going to have salt from the butter. Ground ginger, they want a 1/2 teaspoon. Again, I'm going to go a little bit over. Still use the 1/2 teaspoon, but I'm going to just let it be a heaping teaspoon. That's the ginger. My ginger I keep over here. I use that for other cooking, so it's out more. It wants freshly grated nutmeg. Yes, I have whole nutmeg. Yes, I could. No, I'm not going to. So we're going with a 1/4 teaspoon of nutmeg. I'm going to go again with that heaping teaspoon of nutmeg. 1/4 teaspoon salt. Again, we're heaping. So this is, I'm sorry, I said salt, allspice. Allspice. There we go. All right. And those are used and out of the way. So we want to mix this. I can put my salt back too. I don't need that right now. And I have multiple whisks because, like I said, I like to cook. So we're just going to kind of whisk all this together. And I always find when I whisk spices with my flour, the spices always seem to go down towards the bottom. So, I don't know why. All right. So we've incorporated all of that. We're supposed to add the butter to the flour. We're going the other way. That's fine. It's all going to get there. And you just kind of work it in. I was telling you that it wants your mixture to be crumbly. So we're just working this in. My butter probably wasn't quite as cold as the recipe would like for it to be. Again, it's going to be fine. It's not going to be quite as sandy because the butter is a little softer than it should have been. Really not worried about it. You don't need to be worried about it either. Half the fun of cooking is just kind of figuring it out as you go. All right. So that is done. Next, they want us to whisk eggs, heavy cream, and vanilla. I switched bowls. I don't have 2 of these glass bowls. Probably invest in another one if I'm going to keep doing the cooking videos. So it's 3 eggs. I'm not that fancy person that's going to be doing them one-handed. It's just not a me thing. Watch this one guy and he cracks them on his forehead. No, I can just imagine that running down my face one day. No. All right, so we're going to whisk the eggs, 1 cup of heavy cream. Kept that cream in the fridge. Fresh, open that up. Had the groceries delivered today. That way my husband did not have to go to the grocery for me. And I was kind of annoyed because with Walmart, as this is through Walmart, heavy cream and the vanilla. So it wants 2 teaspoons of vanilla extract. Again, I love this vanilla paste. I am not measuring this with anything but my heart. We'll say that's 1. We'll say that's 2. It's 2 big ones. Okay, we're going to whisk this. Got all mixed in together. So anyway, the whole Walmart grocery thing, I was pretty annoyed because I placed the order for the groceries and went to check out, and it wouldn't let me check out unless I put a tip in there. Well, first of all, if I choose to tip, I would rather tip cash when my delivery person comes. Same thing when we order pizza or any other, takeout. So I was pretty annoyed with that. And they would have gotten a bigger tip had I been able to say, like, no tip, and then in the notes section say, well, cash, pay cash on delivery. Didn't give me that option. I was pretty annoyed. Okay. All right, got this mixed in there. Could I have done this with a whisk? Yes. Would I rather use this? Absolutely. I'm going to put that over here and grab my spatula, which is clean but not quite dry. All right. I'm going to pull out, let me dump my eggs. I'm going to pull out just a little bit of this flour mixture here. Okay. And we're going to mix the apples in with that. So the reason that we're doing that is because then the apples won't stick together. The flour kind of coats them. So we'll start with that, just so it's ready to go. And since I already had the bowl here, this is perfectly fine for me. I got this recipe online. The site is Delish, D-E-L-I-S-H. So I'll give credit where credit's due. All right, so they have a nice little coating on them. That's fine. And then we're going to add the wet to the dry. So we're just going to pour this in, and just combining it. Does not need to be mixed all kinds of crazy. Oh, look at all that. You can't see. I don't know if you can see all that beautiful little dark black speckle is the vanilla bean from the vanilla bean paste. Oh, French vanilla ice cream used to be my favorite. Have those little specks of the vanilla in there. Yes. Okay. And we're just going to mix this until combined. And we're going to toss the apples in there. I'm going to fold the apples now into this batter. Get them mixed in there. So it's very thick. And you'll notice when you make homemade cakes that they are a bit thicker. This also kind of, I've made this before. It just kind of reminds me more of a coffee cake too. It's a little more dense. It's not meant to be all kinds of airy. So I just want to make sure that the flour is all mixed in, because nobody wants to have a bite of flour. And there's not that much liquid in this batter. Again, remember it's got these fresh apples in it. And as the apples bake, it's going to just kind of add that extra liquid to your cake. So don't be afraid that it's this thick. My oven did come up to temperature, so we're good there. And oh yeah, while I do this, I should tell you about this little thing that I've got going on at the studio. So if you're local, you want to get in on it, that's great. So at the yoga studio, we're going to be doing a fundraiser for an organization, or a local organization here in town called Peach's Pantry. And what Peach's Pantry does is it's very real, not just in this town, but in probably all over the US, and especially now. I was going to wash my hands, but you know what? I'm probably going to get the Mayaki again anyway. But children are food insecure. That's what they're calling it now. We used to say that the kids go hungry, and now they're calling it food insecurity. So what Peach's Pantry does to help with that is they take donations of non-perishable food items, and they go to the schools on Thursdays and Fridays, and they help them by giving them food so they'll have food for the weekend. Because oftentimes children only have food that they're getting at school. So they'll go to school, they get their breakfast and lunch at school. Sometimes they don't have dinner, or their dinner is very minimal. And then by the time the weekend rolls around, they're not sure if they're going to eat. And oftentimes it's not just those kids that are in school, but maybe they have younger siblings at home. So, I mean, it's a sad reality in our country. Here I am, you know, we probably spent $100 on meat alone just to feed, you know, our friends. And there are children that maybe go to bed without dinner, or aren't going to be eating much of anything on the weekend. So Peach's Pantry gives them non-perishable foods. The thing the kids seem to love the most are ramen noodles. So one of the ladies, Megan, that teaches for me on Thursday nights, had seen a post that I had made about buying the ramen noodles when they were on sale. You might have seen that on the Facebook and the Instagram. And she reached out to me. She's like, Rose, what if we do more? I said, I'm listening. And she thought that she, me, and one other teacher could offer yoga classes. And instead of paying for the class, you take the class for 5 non-perishable food items. You can't give me an idea and not expect it to blow up. So I took that further. I got more people coming in to teach different kinds of classes. And we're going to run it from like 9 in the morning until 8 at night. And we're going to have, I'll do a gentle stretch to kind of prep everybody for everything that's coming for the day. Raphael from Chosun Martial Arts is going to come in, and he is going to do a simple self-defense course, and then I will teach a kids yoga class because we're doing something for the kids, so why not throw a kids class in there? And that'll give the adults a break from the self-defense class. And then we'll have a intro to power yoga, I think, is one of the classes that Megan wants to do. Someone's going to do a gentle vinyasa, trying to make sure that it's all levels kind of stuff. I have another teacher who's going to come in and do a hatha yoga class. And then I have one of the local teachers is also into holistic and plant medicine. So she's going to come in and give a plant medicine class. And then the lady that does our sound baths heard about it, and she's like, I'm in. I will do a sound bath for you. So she's going to come back in the evening and do a sound bath. All of these classes for 5 non-perishable items per class. So it's a win-win-win, right? I mean, I'm calling it a day of giving and wellness. And, you know, people coming to take the classes, they're giving the food to the organization that will give them to the children. And as the instructors, we are giving our time and our expertise. And that just helps everybody's overall wellness. The children, the people taking the classes and donating the food, and us instructors. So I'm really excited for it. I really hope we have an amazing turnout. I don't want to lock anybody out of it. The studio is not that big, and we'll just make it work. Somehow we will make it work. The only thing that I'm going to take reservations for is the sound bath. I can really only get 12 in there because you get to lie down. So anyway, that's kind of the fun, exciting thing that's coming up at the studio that I'm really excited about. And get back to this cake. All right, let's get this poured into this pan. It's probably be extra moist because I've got the extra apples in there. I just want to scoop out all the batter that I can. Go ahead and just kind of press this in. So we're not even going to get much rise out of this with only 1 teaspoon, was it teaspoon or tablespoon, of the baking powder. I'm going to just press this in with my fingers. Okay. There we are. There we go. All right. Get as much of that batter off my hands as we can. Now this does have a custard top, like a custard sauce to put on top of it. I won't make that until tomorrow. I won't film that. I may not even make it. Might just be fine without it. We'll find out. All right. So there it is. Let me wash my hands. All right, and in the oven it goes. Ta-da. All right, it needs to bake for about 1 hour, 20 minutes. So I'm going to go ahead and set my timer for, I'm going to check it in 1 hour 10. So I'll set it for 80 minutes. That's 1 hour 20. Okay. So I'm still going to check it about 10 minutes early and just see. It says to bake for like 1 hour 20 or until your toothpick comes out clean and the apples are soft. So that is all of that. When it comes out of the oven, I will go ahead and just pop back on and show you the finished product. I'm not going to keep you going for 1 hour and 20 minutes to watch me wash dishes and clean everything up. And that will be our desserts for our dinner. And then tonight, just to make things easier on myself when I'm entertaining this is a simple dinner compared to some of the other things that I do, but still to make things easier on myself, I'm going to do things like get out my big pots to put the meat and the veggies in. I don't have to do anything really with the vegetables. I could cut my cabbage tonight, but it's really not that big of a deal. And I don't have anything that I must do tomorrow except go early in the morning to my sister and let her beat me up with the strength training. And I say that with all the love and kindness. I really appreciate everything that she's doing. And she puts up with me going, oh, that hurts, or oh my God, I can't do it. And she's like, yes, you can. Which is funny because I get what I give. I give that to my students too. They're like, I can't do that. I'm like, yes, you can. You've got this. So I get it too. So anybody's taking yoga classes with me and, I've done that to you, just know that I too get that same treatment. All right. I will check back in when that cake's out of the oven just so you can see what it looks like. And I can't cut into it, so we're not going to have that good taste test, but I'll try and get a small slice of it tomorrow and step off to the side and just film that for you. If it doesn't happen, sorry, it doesn't happen. But thanks for joining me. I hope that you enjoyed our time in the kitchen together, and we'll do more cooking videos. Don't worry. I hope you have a great afternoon, evening, morning, wherever it is that you're at and watching me in. And I will see you soon. Have a great day. All right, I'm back. So I decided that I think what I'm going to do tonight is kind of take you through how I prepare for having company. Like I said, tonight's this dinner is pretty simple, so not going to be that kind of complicated. But I thought I'd take you along with me. Did up all the dishes, and we'll just kind of look at how I set things up, how I prepare, how I can make things easier on myself for the next day so that I'm not feeling quite so stressed, and maybe I can get a shower before everybody comes, stuff like that. And actually be ready when my guests arrive. Although my husband's here, we make a pretty good team on that respect. Like Hugh will entertain and I kind of flit around and do all of the work part of it, and he does all the big social part of it. And I'm quite happy with that arrangement. And it seems to work. So this bowl is the bowl that came with the mixer. This bowl over here is, I picked this up at Walmart. I want to say it was like $50. Hopefully they still have them in stock and they're still on sale. I should check that out. I will get another one. So I'm going to be doing these types of videos. It would be nice to have two. And I was thinking about the cake and maybe just sharing with you guys about the cake, because you may have thought, well, geez, you've got the extra liquid from those apples. You put a whole other apple in there. Aren't you worried about the cake being kind of raw and too wet? And the answer to that here in Southeast Arizona is going to be no. Because the air is so incredibly dry here. You have to make adjustments when you're baking. We might have to add more liquids or more, like sometimes when I make cookies, instead of putting oil in, I would use applesauce. This just got all tangled up in this poor whisk. So I will add extra applesauce in there. Oh, that's kind of crazy. There we go. All right. So have all of this. Keep that all in there. My water, my tea. That was one of the interesting things when I first moved here. It just amazes me how fast everything dries. Like you can put wash dishes by hand and just set them on a counter, and in like 10 minutes they'll be dry. Or the dishes that are in the dishwasher are actually dry and not having to be, hand dried as you're taking them out. So it is quite an adjustment. I did live in South Florida for 34 years, I think it was, by the time I left. So that humidity and everything is always something to deal with. Here we don't have that. I don't have to worry about my salt clumping. I don't have to worry about putting rice in my salt so that it doesn't clump and won't come out of the salt shakers. I don't have to worry about these airtight seals necessarily, because everything's so dry. My flour is not going to get moisture in it, or if anything, it's like the absolute reverse. Like my brown sugar, I have to really make sure that is sealed well, because that will dry out. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and get out the pots and everything that I'm going to use for tomorrow, and then I'll kind of take you around and show you how I set up for a more simple dinner in the dining area. All right, so I pulled all the pots off camera just because they're really loud, and I know you don't want to hear all that. Looks like an awful lot of pots, right? I have an awful lot of food that I'm going to be cooking. I have 5 corned beef plus 4 heads of cabbage and the potatoes. So this is probably going to be a tight fit for all of that anyway, because I can do 1 and 1. I can probably do 2 in this pot of the corned beef. That's only 4 of the 5 corned beefs. I do have 1 smaller pot. We'll see how big the corned beef are tomorrow when I open them up. But you're like, how are you going to fit all that on the stove? Because you have a pretty basic size stove. I will say that I love my stove. All right. And what I will do, because these pots are very wide, is I can remove the griddle from the center. I could use this in the center, but I don't need to. But it'll give me the space to put all these pots without them banging into one another. I'm not going to bother with that until tomorrow. I may have to put yet another pot on there. Depends on what we've got going on. But that is going to be the situation for the corned beef and cabbage. Like I said, it's a boiled dinner. Now, the way that I traditionally would make my corned beef and cabbage is put the water in. The corned beef comes with the seasoning packets in it. So you put that in with the water. For me, traditionally, I will take a beer and I'll pour beer into the water as well. They boil and cook for so long that all the alcohol is worn off, is like evaporated, and you just have that good hops flavor. So that is how I would normally do mine. We do have some people that are in recovery, so I probably will omit that just so that everybody feels a little more comfortable. I don't want anybody to ever feel like they've blown their recovery because they came here and had some corned beef and cabbage. So if you're making it for your family and that's not an issue, then go ahead and put the beer in there. Again, I mean, the alcohol boils off. It's just like when you're making a beef stew, you can put red wine in there. It adds depth of flavor, and because it cooks for so long in the oven, all the alcohol just burns out. So you don't really have to worry about that, but I don't want anybody to feel uncomfortable. So I'll make sure that I leave that out. That's not a big deal. And yeah, so, and I just really, anybody that's in recovery, whether you're 1 day or 10 years or 20 years or 1 year, keep up the good work. You're doing great. Right. And we're going to move into the dining area, and I'm going to set up the plates and all of that, and you can kind of see how I set up for that. All right, because we're expecting between 20 and 25 people, obviously I'm not going to fit 20 people around my dining room table, but people kind of sit wherever they want. I've got space outside, so they'll be outside as well. And it always works out. People sit on the couch, wherever they want to be is fine. All right, so I'm going to move some of my things out of the way because this becomes a buffet for my smaller, simpler meals. So we'll go ahead and just move these. I have to share these with you. So I'll share this little bit with you. These beautiful glass lilies are from my sister. When she was in the Navy, she used to travel. She saw the world. And she would bring me back very unique pieces, and this was one of the pieces. This is actually a candle holder, so it sits like this on the table, and then the candle sits in the spiral. My son broke this one, so I don't really stick candles in them, but I do leave them out because they are beautiful hand-blown glass from, I'm not sure where she was. It was Portugal or Spain, or I don't know. She went so many places, and she brought me back so many beautiful things and unique things, and I love beautiful and unique. So I keep them safe. I've got the little shelves. I'm just going to put them over here. I'll move this over here. I can put these candlesticks. Fit down there. They'll fit there. This piece also is a very special piece. I'll show this to you. So one of my students in South Florida, Nikki, made this for me. So it is this little glass tray, glass dish, but she made that. All of that beautiful work. And it is food safe, hand wash only. Do not place in the dishwasher. But I just want, if Nikki is ever watching any of my videos, know that I have this and I still cherish it. And she gave that to me quite a few years ago. I'll put the coasters out so people can grab them and use them. And I will just push this aside. Now, as I said, I entertain a lot, so I've got all kinds of fun stuff. All my plates, I keep everything down here. So I've got all my buffet plates down here, my pretty blue glasses down here as well. I don't have enough for 20 of that, so that's not going to go out. Then I have 8 or fewer, I can use the blue. So I'm going to take out all of my buffet plates. I think I've got like 30 some of these. I don't know if I have 30 people, but it's okay. I also keep under here and ready to go these little glass containers, like little vases that I got at the dollar store, and they hold my silverware. So forks, knives I'll pull from my silverware drawer. What else do I need from under here? I need these. These are great. I'm going to show you these. These are, if you entertain at all, even if you only do Thanksgiving at your house, so worth it. So these are little hot mats. Think of a heating pad that you would maybe put on your neck or your hip or your back when it's bothering you. Kind of like that. Rolls out, plugs in, temperature setting, and you can set your serving platters, your bowls, whatever on this directly, and it will keep it warm. until you turn it off. Really super handy. I had seen these on Amazon, and they were, I want to say like on Amazon when I had seen them, they were like $35. And then I found them in TJ Maxx, Home Goods, Marshalls, that sort of thing. I found them there. And I picked them up there because they were $25.99 at the time. I got these a couple of years ago. I'll put one here. On my buffet, I had them put in, the gentleman that did this for me, I had him put in these pop-up sockets, so they sit flush onto the counter, and then when I need them, I just pop them up. The ones that I chose, again, I got these on Amazon, and the ones that I chose, you can set your phone on the top of it. It's a charger for your phone. I am sorry that I did not also get them with the USB plugs, because I find that I need those an awful lot, and it would be really convenient had I had them here as well. But that's okay. I'm not going to switch it out. All right. So these are now up and ready. Plugged in, all I have to do is turn them on when I need them. I will just put these one bag inside the other and pop that right back under here. Now for me, because I'm this kind of, I would say I'm this kind of crazy, I feel like if I'm going to take the time to make a nice meal, unless I'm doing like a barbecue thing or a Super Bowl, but for the most part, when I'm making a nice meal, I want to make sure that you have real plates to eat off of, real silverware to eat with, and cloth napkins. So I kind of got that from my mother, I think. She used to like cloth napkins, and I now have quite the collection of cloth napkins. And my girlfriend Lauren gave me a bunch of her cloth napkins when she was cleaning things out. So I will try to get orange, green, and white together, because those are the colors of the Irish flag. Will that be lost on anybody? I don't know. Maybe somebody will know that and appreciate it. If not, I know it. I have plenty of black napkins. I probably have 30 of those. That's another Nick story. I'll have to share that with you. I will share that with you. I can share that with you now. So one of his jobs, he worked for a country club, and he was like a busboy for a country club. And he had come home one day, and he had these really, really nice black cloth napkins, good size, good fabric. I'm like, wow, Nick, those are really nice. And he's like, you want some? I'm like, Nick, I don't want you to get fired from your job because you're stealing napkins. He goes, oh, don't worry about it. And I probably have 20 of those napkins now. So he brought those home for me, and I have them. And there's something I laugh about now. And he didn't lose his job over it. Let's see. Do I have the orange, the white? I have so many napkins, really do. Let's see. Green, white. I am not going to have enough to make that happen, but I do have these, and they're very pretty. So I think I will do a combination of these and these. So I have this sage and then this pretty embroidered. And I got these at Sur La Table in West Palm Beach, and they were on clearance. So I picked up scads of them, and I'll use this pretty sage green as well. And Just in case I need more, I have some dark green, so that will go well as well. So we'll do that. So I'm not going to have enough orange, so I don't have to worry about it being lost on anybody. And I think that will do us for the napkins. And then what I'm going to do with the napkins is I will roll them and put them in a basket. And then people can just grab that when they grab their silverware. All right. Looks good. I'm going to grab the basket. I have got so much kitchen stuff. I have all of this is all kitchen underneath this whole way here. In the kitchen, of course, I have kitchen stuff. I have serving platters and other pieces in the family room and the little entertainment console under the TV. And then I have a 6x3 cabinet in the garage that's full of just kitchen stuff, bakeware, serveware, you name it. So I'm going to kind of run around. I'm going to gather those things and I'll be right back to you. All right, so I brought you out to the garage so you could see this cabinet that I have with all of this stuff in it. Let's see, get you in here. It's going to want to focus on me. So I'll step into the cabinet area. So food prep stuff, I've got, goodness, I've got cookie cutters and slicers, and these you can make your own chips with, and then all the bakeware here, and then down here I've got more bakeware and serveware, and then down at the very bottom, see if we can get that camera to cooperate, I have the wire racks for like chafing dishes we do Christmas Eve. That's the only time I use them is Christmas Eve. We do Chinese. So this is a cabinet of all my extra stuff, and I got rid of a lot too when I moved, and I got rid of more when I got here too, and I still have a lot, but I use it. If I wasn't using it, then I'd be like, okay, let's get rid of it, but I am using it. Some of the things, actually I use it all, so yeah, all these different things I use. So I just thought I'd show you that. I say I got a lot of kitchen stuff, got a lot of kitchen stuff. Really love cooking, love entertaining. Okay, I'm back. I gathered a few things. I got the platters that I'm going to need for tomorrow. Got 3 different platters here. This big square one, use that, and I have these 2 round ones, one in blue, one in this kind of rust color, and then I've got this bowl. I figure if I have extra cabbage or the potatoes that aren't going to go on the platter, I can put it in this. This bowl is really pretty. You can see all the texture in it. And this bowl, good thick glass, was given to me by my friend Lauren. She was cleaning out her stuff. She's like, Rose, I'm not going to use this anymore. Take it. Now, mind you, I've already packed up my house, and I've got most of my house here in Arizona already and unpacked, and I'm staying with her for the final few months of my lease on my studio finishing out, and she's cleaning stuff out, and she's giving me cloth napkins, and she's giving me this, and she's giving me that. I'm like, I gotta get all this stuff to Arizona. And she's like, you'll do it. And I did, and I am grateful to have it, because every time that I see it or I touch it or I use it, it just reminds me of her and you know, the times we spent together. So Lauren, if you're watching, thank you. And I have so many things. I'm very blessed. I have so many things from so many people that I get to have those experiences with. Like I said, I was there for 34 years. I had my studio in South Florida for 10 years. And my students are more than students. We have a bond, and they become friends. It's not just a business. And so they all have given me beautiful, wonderful things that always remind me of them when I see them or use them. So just thank you to everybody. So for the napkins, I just try and keep it somewhat simple. I'm just going to roll them up, just fold it in thirds, and I'm going to roll it up, and we're going to stick it in this basket. This is my bread basket. Oh, the other thing that I'm going to do, but I'll make that tomorrow, I make Irish soda bread. I do that from scratch. And I have to, it's always a big thing to try and find currants. So I put the currants in my Irish soda bread. Last year I could not find currants, so I did not have them. And my sister was in Tucson one day and she found me currants. So I do have currants for my bread this year, which is good. Although I will probably I probably have enough for 2 loaves of Irish soda bread. I might only have enough currants for the 2 loaves, and I probably will make 3. So just my thought. And I better see if I need AP flour or if I can use bread flour for that. And I'm thinking probably AP flour, only because Irish cooking seems to be fairly rustic. I mean, not to say that they don't have an amazing culinary scene, and I'm sure they have very elevated dishes, but these meals are very rustic. And just to kind of keep true to them, they're not fancy meals, and that's okay. They're good. And I do my research, and I was trying to make, an Irish meal, but there are a lot of stews and stuff like that. And my husband likes the corned beef and cabbage, so corned beef and cabbage it is. But the Irish soda bread is my thing. It's my idea, and I like to do it. So we're doing it. And that is probably it for this evening. I will tell you the cake smells delicious. I did take a peek at it, and it seems to be browning on top nicely. As you saw, it is also a rustic cake. It's not smooth and flat by any means. So when that comes out, I will pop back on and show you. But for now, this is not riveting content watching me roll napkins. I will go ahead and check back in with you shortly. All right, so I finished setting up the buffet for now. I have some St. Patrick's Day decorations in one of the sheds outside, so I'll grab those tomorrow morning. But just talking about the cloth napkins and stuff, just to show you where I keep. So they are in here, and these 4 drawers are all cloth napkins. So the middle 2 and the bigger ones on the bottom. So I have a lot. And then what we did with the napkins, just kind of rolled them, put them in the basket. Forks, knives, plates. Here's a better view of these little hot pads. And then I can just simply turn it on here and adjust the temperature. And these are the pop-up things I was telling you about. So just push on that, pops up. And you can see you can just set your phone on top of that and it will charge the phone. And I have some St. Patty's Day stuff. I'll just kind of throw that on there to fill in space. These cords aren't going to be in the way. And that is everything for tonight. Let's take a quick peek in the oven. Let the heat come out first. And take a nice look at that cake while it bakes. We still have about 30 minutes left on that. So I'll be back to you in about 30 minutes. Alrighty, cake came out of the oven and I came out of the shower. So while the cake was in its final 20 minutes, I took a quick shower, just gave a light blow dry to my hair. They say with curly hair you shouldn't be blow drying it fully. So that's great. Took care of that. And I will show you the cake. So there is our rustic apple cake, Irish apple cake. And tomorrow I may or may not make the custard. I'm thinking I won't make the custard. I'll just do another homemade whipped cream for both the chocolate pie and this cake. And then I can put the meat up. I took the potatoes out, so they're ready to just be tossed in the pots. And I think I'm going to sit down. I'm going to try and edit this and get it out for you. And drink some water because I haven't drunk that much water this evening. So thanks for sticking with it. Thanks for watching, and I will see you very soon. Have a great morning, afternoon, evening, wherever you're at.